Hey everybody, today I'm going to be showing how to turn one of these cheap, boring, stack-on gun cases into something more exciting and way more useful. First things first, these things MSRP for $199.99 online, but there's absolutely no reason you should be paying that. Here's a couple examples on Facebook Marketplace. If it's not the exact same stack-on, it's comparable, but you can also go to places like Sportsman's and others, and I was able to find a decent deal, 20 bucks cheaper than online, so I had to go ahead and load that up and get it back to the shop. Now there's a couple other things we're going to need. One piece of plywood. Next, we're going to head over to the carpeting section. I just found some of this cheap 6-foot wide carpet. I got 2 feet of it, another 11 bucks basically. Now another very important part of the process, went ahead and got a pizza for a lunch break and watched the dash cam videos. Now while we get unloaded, there are going to be a couple other things you're going to need for this build. Basic circular saw and a drill, of course. You're going to need a staple gun with staples. You're going to need staples thick enough for whatever thickness carpet you've got. Oh, that's actually a pretty good key. Now, first thing you want to do is use the included plastic shelf as a reference to cut out your new plywood shelf. Once we got that cut out, just did some test fits to make sure it felt good and did some measuring for the uprights. Now, I recommend using some sawhorses or a workbench, but I kind of just threw things together here on the floor. Then just some more test fitting to make sure I like where things are. Now, this is where things get a little more complicated. Basically, just trying to decide on fitment and sizing. Also cutting out our 2 shelves that we're going to be using on the right side of the upright. Now, at first I thought I was just going to have 1 upright, but then I went ahead and decided I wanted 2 just to make it a little more sturdy, and then went ahead and got started wrapping it in our carpet. My camera died, but basically just cut out enough for this carpet to wrap around each of your shelf and your upright. Also, if I would do it again, I would not use any of this glue, just more staples. Now we've got our main section here in, top shelf and upright. Now we're just doing 2 shelves for the right side. Again, measuring from the upright to the inner wall of the safe. We're just using all of the same materials. This is still the same 2 feet of carpet and the same piece of plywood. The most important part of these are just making sure you're using an absolute ton of staples. And then this last bit here for the front and the back, just cutting out the bottom side of your shelf and then doing a angle cut for the top to wrap down. In my view, it made it look a bit better on the display of the front and the back and the fitment of the carpet. Now, the last thing you're going to want is these adjustable shelf rails. You can get them online or like an Ace Hardware. Pretty cheap. I think all 4 for like 10 bucks. They come with these adjustable shelf clips that you can move up and down. Easiest way to install these is just a couple screws into the center upright to the plywood, and then you can get some small nuts and bolts for the exterior wall and just drill some pilot holes. The most important thing, as you can see, is making sure your measurement from the top to the bottom is the same. So as you can see here, I've got 2 inches at the top, 2 inches at the bottom, straight line compared to the exterior wall. Same thing on the inside rail. Now you have removable and adjustable shelves. Now for the final reveal, I have 4 long guns on the left side, 3 handguns on top with room to spare, and then some shelves for suppressors and other accessories. So recapping, 200 bucks for the gun cabinet. You shouldn't be paying anywhere close to that though. 180 at the most if you get it from the store, down to about 100 bucks if you get it off of Marketplace or something. 25 bucks for a piece of plywood. You could go thinner and triple up the size to make it a little cheaper. The 2 feet of length of the 6 feet wide carpet for me was 11 bucks. Just shop around for whatever you can find at your local stores. The shelf rails were the hardest to find for me. I got lucky and a local Ace Hardware had some. You can find them online for Amazon though. Similarly, 10, 15 bucks, super cheap, super easy. And lastly, just some random bolts, screws, staples. And that brings my total to $233. Like I said, less than 250 bucks all in. You could easily do this for less than 150 bucks if you got a cheap one offline from Marketplace or Craigslist. So that's it. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to subscribe and I'll see you in the next one.